Hello everybody, welcome to a special edition of the Hamilton County Sports Show. I'm Brad Silbert. We're joined today by Fishers High School varsity ladies coach Lauren Votaw. Lauren, first of all, congratulations on a great season last year. I know you ended up one win short, but it was a great season for the Tigers.
Thank you. Yes, it was a lot of fun. Really proud of that group. We made a lot of really great memories.
Well, we've gone from 22-23 on to the 23-24 school year. And of course you had activities with the ladies over the summer, and then talk a little bit about what went on during the off season.
Well, we spent the off season really trying to figure out, who we are as this 23-24 season. We talked a lot about this idea of making our own identity as a 23-24 season, but still really sticking to those things that are important to our program and those culture identities. And so we spent a lot of time over the summer just really getting to know one another, and team retreats and playing a lot of basketball and really getting to know each other off and on the court.
Well, let's talk about the players. You had, you lost a couple good seniors, several good seniors, but you've got a lot of good returning players that are with you again this year. Yeah,
so we do. We return several players from that team last season, and several of them have a lot of varsity experience. And so we are really trying to build on that and just, take what we learned from last year and then apply it to this year. But we also have some new faces, and so we're trying to make sure that everybody is on the same page and trying to figure out, like I said, just who we are as this team this year. But yeah, we return our seniors, Talia Harris, Jordan Smith, Kate Thomas, and Morgan Roberts. And then juniors, Allison Shoy and Nevaeh Dickman. And then we've added 4 new players to that roster in Olivia Brookshire, Alana Anthony, Natalie Thomas, and Michaela Triplett.
Well, let's talk about the roles that the returning and the new players will take for the team.
Well, their roles are going to have to increase. Obviously, the twins and Alicia and Karina had roles in this program, and the twins just, they did a lot for us on both ends of the floor. And so players are going to have to step up and play roles that they weren't used to last year. Talia Harris is going to have to take a much larger scoring role than she has been used to. And just, overall, we're just, like I said, trying to figure out defensively who is going to step up and, guard. We have a lot of really, really talented players on our schedule. And so trying to figure out, defensively who are going to be those go-to players for us. But I think the seniors have done a nice job of trying to lead us and help things to move in the right direction. And we are having to learn a lot more. We have, several players who are new, and we're having to refresh a lot of things. But the players have responded well.
Let's talk a little bit about the schedule you got coming up this year. As per usual, you guys play a very tough schedule, not only conference-wise, but non-conference too. And I've always thought that was, probably a pretty good idea to get teams prepared for the tournament.
Yes, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I believe that we need that schedule because we need every chance we have to test ourselves. And any night where we go out and play someone who doesn't challenge us is not necessarily helping us towards our goals. And so, we try to really beef that schedule up and make it as difficult as it can be. And obviously you have years where the teams on your schedule are a little bit down, but overall, I think, last year we finished with a top 10 toughest schedule, if not top 5, and that's exactly how we want it. And it does prepare us. It prepares us because throughout the season we can't afford to take nights off, and when you get into the tournament you can't afford to take nights off. And so it gets you mentally prepared to do that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about not only the schedule, but talk about the conference this year. Once again, it looks like the Hoosier Crossroad is going to be, if not the top conference, one of the top conferences in the state of Indiana and probably nationwide. I mean, it's a great conference with a lot of great competition.
It is, and I do believe it is the toughest conference in the state, top to bottom. And obviously, our sectional is a lot of those same opponents. But the thing I love about our conference is what we just talked about. It's like a mini season, a mini tournament, and if you want to win it, most of the time you have to go 7-0. if you want to win that conference. And so it's a challenge to make sure that you're mentally prepared and physically prepared night in and night out, because every team in that conference can challenge you on any given night.
What teams do you think will give you the biggest challenge this year in the conference?
Well, I mean, I think obviously Noblesville and Hamilton Southeastern are two of the favorites, but I mean, I look at Brownsburg, they've got Avery Gordon, she's going to be tough every night. Avon, Will Stahl has just done a phenomenal job over there, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, coming into the season. Obviously, Westfield can flat out shoot it, they're very fundamentally sound, and they've started off the season really well. Zionsville returns, they lost Layla Hall, but they return a lot of really good stuff too, and then, even Franklin Central, they've got some good freshmen, and they're competing at a higher level than they have competed at. And so I think that, there are those teams at the top who are definitely the favorites, but I think the conference might be more competitive this year, top to bottom, than it has been in years past.
Well, I noticed the other day I was looking at the 4A rankings, and anytime you've got a conference that's got 8 teams in it and you've got 5 in the top 20, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That not only makes for some great competition, but it's just phenomenal.
It
is all I can say, and I think personally, I think it's neat to be associated with the Hoosier Crossroad Conference.
It is.
In that, let's talk a little bit about how you and your coaching staff work together and how you evolve with different teams. Obviously, and I'm not singling out the Smith twins, but the loss of those two ladies it's making a big difference for you as a coaching staff in that. How do you guys adjust, or what do you do to kind of, I don't know, the only word I can think of is make up for that gap?
Well, I think a lot of it is having conversations both amongst our coaching staff and with our players, and being in continual conversation about, hey, this is what we're seeing, this is where we need you to step up. But as far as the coaching staff goes, I am just so fortunate. Bill Thomas is phenomenal at what he does as far as X's and O's, and he is really good at helping me with that. We can bounce ideas off of each other. What do we need to do differently this year than what we've done in the past? And how do we adjust to make this team the most successful? And we have a really large coaching staff this year, which is very helpful, and just a bunch of people that are eager to work and to be here and to serve. And so the level of preparation that we are able to do is great, and the level of attention that our players are able to have in practice, because we have so many coaches and voices, is really also beneficial. But I think, we're really trying hard, and when you have a season like you had last year, like we had last year, it's really hard to not compare. And one of the things that I've really tried to do as a coach this season is really try to remember that this is this year's team. And we've talked about this as a program. They have told me many times they want to make their own identity, and I love that. But we've also talked about the fact that we have these culture standards that were created by our leadership group, and yes, we want to make our own identity, but we got to make sure that those culture standards stay the same. And so I think as a coaching staff, what we try to do is make any adjustments that we need to make X's and O's wise, but at the same time still try to keep the way we run our program the same.
Do you have any new coaches this year?
We have lots of new coaches.
Let's talk about them.
Oh, okay. So our coaching staff, so obviously I'm the head coach. Bill Thomas is our varsity assistant. He has been here. We have a new JV coach, Thaddeus Hackworth. He has coached at Crispus Attucks in the past. And then our JV assistant is a young coach named Darvani Christopher. He's fresh out of college. He works in the building. And then our freshman coach is Chelsea Maxey. She was on staff last year as an assistant, but now she's our head freshman coach. She also works in the building. And then her assistant is Matt Swaim, who used to be our freshman coach, but is now assisting her. And he works in the building as our director of guidance. And then we have Jenny Brooks, who is our director of basketball operations, and helps me with all of the behind-the-scenes things. And then we have 3 volunteers who just come in and give their time. Katie Harrell, my husband, Jeremy, and we have another teacher in the building, Jacob Bandura. And so we're just really fortunate to have such a big group of people that want to be around our program and really pour into our kids in a positive way.
Well, that's good to hear, because that rapport and that relationship between not only the players and coaches, but the coaches is so important to set that set the right tone in that. Well, we wish you good luck on this season, and thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the Hamilton County Television Sports Show, I'm Brad Silbert. Good day.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.